Is it live?
Welcome to Chris and Carlette Live, a podcast about life, love, and overcoming obstacles. Each week, we discuss the good, the bad, and the indifferent of life's interruptions. Now, here's your host, Chris and Carlette.
Keep believing, don't go stressing, keep it moving. God, we're resting, here to help you, here to bless you. With God on our side, CNC Life.
Welcome, y'all, to the Chris and the Carlette live show, broadcasting all the way from none other than Georgia.
The Peach State.
The Peach State. Yes, the Peach State.
You know, speaking of peach, I had the best peach lemonade.
Really?
From this food truck that was at the football game.
Well.
You know, we had to support, be there for Evan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the food truck, the vendor's name was The Taste of the D. They were from Detroit.
Detroit.
And it was very delicious. And I talked to them some more today. They will be a guest on our show soon.
Really?
Oh, they have a story to tell and to help people who want to get into the business of food truck.
Wow.
Yes.
So, Friday, we had the pleasure of watching the
Oh man. I still.
I guess you could call it a fight.
It was a fight.
Between
the real fight was before.
Yeah,
them,
the real fight was
the two
before.
ladies.
And so I'm
glad it was free.
I wanted to I shared a post with someone. No, I didn't share. I text you and a friend of ours just to make sure y'all got up in the morning, and just wanted to say good morning to everybody.
Chris, are you serious? What?
That's Mike Tyson. That was when they showed. It was on Netflix.
That don't mean you can sit up there and show that again.
Anyway, Carla, he got on the thong.
Well, what that got to do with showing it on here?
My God, Carla, calm your nerves. But anyway, that was him. They accidentally was it? You got it in the text. Anyway, y'all, we so that was Friday, and then Saturday we took Evan to his football game, and unfortunately they lost against a school called Tucker. He was very distraught, but this is what he was like before the game.
Where's the sun, Dad?
What's going to be the final score today?
27-20, we won.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What you going to do today?
3 more pancakes.
Yeah.
3 more pancakes.
Need more pancakes.
Yeah, if I don't get that goal, I'm gonna have to do 20 push-ups tonight.
That's 20 push-ups ain't nothing. What are you doing mentally to get prepared?
Nothing. Just think about nothing.
Think about nothing.
Yeah, just lock in.
Just locking in.
Yeah, just think about nothing. Lock in. Don't. I'm trying not to. I don't know, but I'm just gonna lock in because this game is a winner go home. So I want to be prepared. I don't care about last week, next week. I just care about this game right now, and I need to focus on it because Tucker got this big dude, and I have to do something about it. So
You gonna do something about it? About it. I think your son has so much wisdom when it comes to life already. What do you think?
I'm still stuck on booty cheeks.
Come on, Carlette. Come on. What is? I think that he has so much wisdom. What he says.
He's an old soul.
Can you talking to Mike?
He's an old soul. That's
Even some of the posts that I did put where he's just focused about his job. You know, remember that post? He said, "All I want to do is just my job."
Do my job.
Like
he got a whole 40 hours in a hard shell lunchbox.
Right.
Like,
I think that, and I was talking to some of the coaches, and they were like, "That's a sign of somebody that really loves the game of football." I mean, to the point where after he lost, he was like just really upset and wanted to beat up everybody. So, but anyway, we have our dear friend on. Carlette, you want to read that for?
So, Chicago native turns food into flair as the Culinary Cutie.
Okay.
Tracy Williamson, the Culinary Cutie, is a Chicago native, a self-taught chef, author, and owner of Peppers Seasonings and Peppers Cuisine and Flavor. The Culinary Cutie has been a featured food segment guest on Fox News, Good Day Atlanta, Good News Day Chicago. I didn't say that right. Fox News, Good Day Chicago, News Nation, Morning in America, ABC WLS Chicago, NBC Chicago Today, WGN Daytime Chicago, Show, Wish TV Indianapolis Lifestyle Live, Get Up Mornings with Erica Campbell syndicated radio show, WVON Chicago, and more. The Culinary Cutie seasoning brand Peppers Seasonings have been featured and sold at Nordstrom in Oak Brook, Illinois, Macy's, Chicago. As an author, Tracy's cookbook, which I do have, Cooking with the Culinary Cutie, 40 delicious recipes from my kitchen to yours, includes breakfast, brunch, meatless, chicken, seafood, drink, veggie, salad, dessert, and more recipes. Culinary Cutie's delicious food content and recipes has reached more than 2 million via social platforms. Check out the Culinary Cutie on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Also, her website page is www.culinarycutie.com. And to add to this resume, she my friend. That's my BFF, one of Chloe's godmothers. I'm just saying.
Well, we're going to welcome.
That's what we're going to do.
Let's see.
Yeah, that's
The
nice.
Culinary.
You know, I'm surprised you haven't put on there like clap or hands.
Oh, well, because you can.
You can move them around?
Yeah, you can like layer it. So like I can turn the page.
Oh, gotcha.
So, like,
okay, because I want her.
right there. It
I
says
want her
applause.
hand claps to be right. Thank you. All the guests
Oh my God.
from Georgia to LA to Chicago.
What's up, Culinary Cutie? I can't hear. Here we go. There we go. Say something.
hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Turn your volume up.
Turn my volume up.
I got it on here. Yeah, there you go. All right. What's happening? Tracy Williamson.
Hi. Do y'all hear echo?
No, you just sound a little distant.
Do you hear echo?
We don't hear
Oh.
one.
Or do you have it playing on something else?
Nope.
Oh.
But I don't know why I hear an echo. But it's okay. We can go here.
Okay. So our relationship goes all the way back to the days of Ty Scott Records.
Yep.
When we moved down there to Indianapolis, our second year of marriage, and I started working for Dr. Leonard Scott, and then you came aboard at but you knew.
I met Tracy when I was pregnant with Christian at the Christmas party.
Yeah.
That's when that's the first time I met her. I was pregnant. I heard about her, but I never met her. And because we was in our world with the church, you were in your world with the church and the dental office, and she was in her world with Ty Scott completely. And it was the Christmas party. I was pregnant, and it was like, oh, that's Tracy. And still then, you could have never told us that we would have developed a close friendship. You could never told me that. I couldn't see that. And it's for no reason at all. And yeah.
Wow.
But that didn't start until the office moved locations to they went from the inner city to the suburbs, and then the church, dental office, and Ty Scott all moved to the same complex. And then I guess I started working for Doc as his administrator. I think that was it. So I didn't have to go talk to her. And us just talking from music stuff, her giving me how to do my job best. Because at the time she was over AR. And then she started cooking.
Oh yeah, the paninis.
The paninis.
Yes, it all started with the paninis.
Yes, I never had a panini. She was my first with that. We talking turkey with roasted vegetables and the cheese.
Oh yeah.
And she would do it on. Listen, so
you
the
box
company,
it up.
Yep. So the company couldn't say that she was doing it on the work. Her lunch came. She was passing out them orders. Okay, I think they were $7 each. Does that sound about right? $7.
I think so. That sounds about right.
Oh yeah, we had and you got.
Y'all got on the same kind of glasses almost.
Yeah, mine's red, hers multicolor.
And our hair.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh. And then it was just one thing after another.
Wow.
It was a good thing. Next thing I know, Tracy coming over to the house. She would be on she had her couch, I had my couch.
Yeah.
We would cook, watch TV, eat. And it got to the point that if Tracy wasn't at the house, we'd be calling like, Tracy, where you at? Now, mind you, her house, we was on the southeast side. She was on the northwest side.
Where was she? Where did you? I can't remember.
She was on the northwest side.
If I stayed, what was my complex called? I forgot the subdivision name now.
Oh.
I remember it,
I can't
though.
remember, but I stayed on the west side. So I stayed, now I need to remember.
Is it Eagle Creek or something?
No, but it was near Eagle Creek.
Okay.
Oh,
So I was
okay.
way west.
Wow.
Yep.
And then she moved out to Ohio, and we followed
and then I
out.
started driving out there, going shopping out there.
Yeah.
Oh God, that was nursing school days.
So Tracy, the topic of this show is crazy faith can be ugly, and we mentioned all those, the Ty Scott, the Ohio move, and then you moved back to Chicago. You're originally from Chicago, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
I am.
Okay.
Southside.
Southside.
Southside. Yeah.
So we wanted to really talk about your journey all the way to where you currently are today, and like what does that mean when you say, let's just jump into it, what does that mean when you say crazy faith can be ugly?
I actually think it's a great topic, especially tying it with the name Culinary Cutie. I don't think we were thinking about that at the time when we discussed that. Can you all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay. All right. So I'll start. Let's go back. I'm not gonna make it a long story, but my journey began way back before Ty Scott or any of that. So we'll say probably around 7, 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm 47 now. So we're talking about 40 years ago. We'll say 40 years ago.
Don't she
So
look 27, y'all? 27. See? That part.
so so for about 7 years old is when I can remember me believing and knowing that I wanted to be some form of or work in the music industry in some capacity. But the word that I knew about, and I don't know, I still to this day can't remember how I found this out, but I knew I wanted to be a music producer at 7 years old.
Hmm.
Wow.
I knew I wanted to be the person behind the scenes making it happen for artists. And I'm assuming some of that came from me watching, at that time, I watched a lot of Motown music tapes. We had VHS tapes back then. My
Right.
dad, he had a lot of VHS tapes of Motown and Motown artists. We watched them. My sister and I watched a lot of it at his house. My daddy talked a lot about Motown. And I remember seeing Berry Gordy. And I was intrigued with how they developed their artists. I probably didn't use the word develop at 7 years old,
No,
but
you
I was
didn't.
intrigued with intrigued with how the artist came to be, and not the artist, but the person that was helping the artist to perform
Mm-hmm.
or be on these platforms. And for whatever reason, I knew that's what I wanted to be. And not that's what I wanted to be, but I believed that's what who I was, even at 7 years old. So between the age of like 7 to 13 at school, um, my friends and I, we developed singing groups. I'm not gonna go through every name of the singing group because we had about 4 or 5 different names. But I was the one who was the manager of the group, making like we would go on tour throughout the school building. So I made like all the flyers with my friends or the tickets. I was developing when we were going to rehearse, and I even made a flyer that had some of our family members listed on there who were going to be in the band, who was going to sell the tickets, who were the role managers. So even at that young age, I had the mind of really being a visionary and a producer. At that time, I didn't quite understand that producing is not just for music, but it's one who's able to bring. They have a vision, and they're good at bringing the best out of situations and knowing how to pull different pieces together to make it happen. So obviously, as an adult, I understand that more. But at 7, I didn't know that's what that was,
Mhm.
and that's actually what I was doing at that young age. So between like 7 to 13, I did a lot of that, and even going to the we'll say extreme, probably around 12, I remember calling the Regal Theater here in Chicago because I knew they were having auditions. I don't know if you all remember the Regal had talent night
Yes.
at the Regal. And
Yes.
so I believed our singing group, we should audition. So I called up there. We were in 7th grade, and I called and scheduled for us to come and audition, to be on stage. And of course, we had to tell our parents. So it's a lot of the same things I do now, I did at between 7 to 13 years old. And around 13 is when my best friend and I formed a production company called Early Growth Productions, because we
Oh,
knew we were going to be big time producers, award winning producers, songwriters. We just knew it. And you couldn't tell me different. I knew it. And I would even call superstars when they came in town in Chicago. One in particular, I remember, his name is Maurice Starr. He's the guy who founded New Edition
yes.
and New Kids on the Block, first New Edition. I remember him being in town. And at about 12 years old, I called his hotel and told them to transfer me to his room on the phone. Let me just say it
Wow.
that way, on the
Uh-huh.
phone, Chris, because I know he got a real good joke coming. So to transfer, so I said, "Can I speak to Maurice Starr?" And they were like, "Who's calling?" I said, "I'm Tracy Williamson from Early Growth. I'm the what did I probably say? The owner of Early Growth Productions. Transfer me to the guy's room on the phone." So talked to him on the phone and told him how I am a producer and I'm gonna be known one day, and Quincy Jones is my mentor. So I'm just going on and on and on with this man. he actually sat on the phone with me for about 10 minutes and, encouraged me. He listened to me tell him, all my dreams, aspirations. So just kind of backing up to when I was younger. So that was the beginning of me having a lot of faith and believing beyond what I could see, even beyond what others told me or anything that was probably never spoken to me, but things that I believed that at that time I didn't realize that God was putting inside of me. And he was showing me and giving me a bigger vision of the gifts and talents I had. And I was not just seeing it, but I was actively putting them to work at that young age. And that's a very key critical part, I think, of anybody's journey is when you're young, most times people don't realize who we are as children or who we are as adults. We're just older, and hopefully they've been nurtured and, I'll say, uh, developed in the right way so that when you get older you see it even more, as you grow. So 7 to 13 is when I kind of had an idea of I want to be a producer. What I did not know, I didn't understand, obviously at 7 years old, was what that would require as far as the journey or how long that would take, and incorporating God's timing into what he wanted. I may have wanted one thing, but we know he has a whole nother plan for our life. So I'll stop there because I don't know if y'all have a question regarding that.
Well, your mother,
Because the story
Dr.
is more,
Ferranda,
more to it.
well,
The
your,
doctor.
she got it. She said she absolutely did. She put that in the comments. Your mother,
Oh,
she
really?
backed you, saying like, yeah, she absolutely
Yes, she
did.
is.
Um,
Yep.
I remember you telling the story. You have a recording of yourself
Yes.
as a
I
child.
do.
Now I thought you was gonna
Mhm.
go in that direction. How old were you in that recording?
Oh, so I forgot it. So I was 3.
Yeah, so it really
3 years.
started then.
A
It
singing
really
recording?
No, her
no.
telling what she was gonna be.
Really?
Yeah, so it's actually me and my father and I. So, and I'm glad you brought that up, Carla, because I forgot all about
I
that. So
thought
really around
that's where I always remembered that.
yep. So we got it's way before 7. So 3 years old, my dad, and I'll give my dad that credit. My father is a very creative person and he's a visionary, and he would record us. He had a tape, a microphone, and a tape recording device, not device, but equipment, a lot of equipment, audio equipment. And he would uh, basically set us up where we were acting like we were radio announcers. And he would say, he's Gregory Williamson, and you're listening to such and such radio. And I have my co host, Tracy Williamson, and I would be on the microphone with him at 3 years old. And I still have the audio tape and audio of that. And I would say, I'm Tracy Williamson, and you're listening to my, I think I said TV show, but thought it was, didn't know it was radio.
Mhm.
So yeah, 3 years old, I was introduced. I'll say to I'll put it this way, to performing
Mhm.
and the creative side, because I was really performing. That's what I was doing at 3 years old. So, like I said, most times we don't realize who we are. It starts early, even if it's not on a huge platform, which it doesn't have to be, and that's not the requirement for our gifts and talents, coming forth. But they start early. They start early with our interactions with people and those around us, and may just be with yourself. You may find children, their imagination may be very vast, and you'll hear them in the room. I'm sure you've seen your children doing this, talking to their dolls or their toys or imaginary friends, or even their friends at school, and you get to kind of see a little bit more of who they really are at a young age.
Mhm. So when the Bible talks about if you have faith as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, "Be thou removed," and or so forth. The scripture. But I
Mhm.
wanted to know: is this where the onset of faith comes from when you're a kid?
I would say for me, I think it should. If you Even if you're, hopefully it's planted in your home, but sometimes that's not the case. For me, it was. I would say that I believe I have, if it's even possible, the gift of faith.
Hmm.
And that's one thing to have that, but you also need to have the understanding the faith without works is dead.
Hmm.
So you can have a lot of faith, a lot of vision, but you have to put the works part to it to walk it out. Because we'll have a lot of thoughts about and dreams and ideas, and you were gonna do this and do that, and then they'll die because the work hasn't been put into it. So I do believe that it starts when you're young.
Did you have a question?
Well,
Talk to Mike.
I think about, is there an atmosphere? Because we're getting somewhere in this story, but we're saying we're laying the foundation of your story, but also for others that's listening, that the atmosphere that needs to be for a child like this. If you see this like this in your child, if you like listening to what you're going through with your child, what is the atmosphere that a parent should create for a child that has this imagination, that already have the level of faith, whether they listening to the preacher, the church, the parent that's teaching them faith, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna do it. That's what kids do. We bring all the objections and they learn it that way. But what's the environment?
I believe the environment should be nurtured and cultivated. Boundaries or walls should not, of course you want safe things, the child to be safe. So not them say, oh, I want to jump off the building because I believe I can fly.
Right.
No. But I think that parents should be open to that and truly listen to the child, and don't dismiss it as, oh, they're just a child and they don't know any better, and they just talking, and that's what kids do. Because most likely, because it's just as adults, we are children will be consistent with their behaviors. So if you're seeing the child constantly saying the same thing,
right,
the same, that could be from the good thing to the bad thing. We need to pay attention to it and not just dismiss it, especially when you see a child, if they're saying, I do want to be this, I really do, and then you see them putting the work and the action to it, even when they're young, that should not be overlooked. It should not be overlooked. And then, of course, children need direction. So, of course, I'll give an example with my mother. I do remember a time when many times when I was young, when I would say, oh, me and my singing groups, we're going to, now whether my mother believed it or not, I will say she took the time, back to what I was saying, I would say, we're going to be on tour at school. And I didn't know how to type. I didn't know how to do that. You know what I'm saying? At that time, it's 7 years old. All I knew was to write with my pencils or my crayons. So my mother, I would ask her, I remember asking her, can you type this at your job for me? And she did. She went and typed maybe it was a song or something that I was writing, or me and my best friend Sakari made a flyer. My mom actually typed it up for me. So I do remember, her doing that. So that's just an example. But even larger than that, the children need direction, and they also need tools to go further with that. So don't cut your children off. Don't, dismiss them. That to me is the time for the parent. You have the access to do the research for the child that they can't do. Now, of course, we're in a different time, but we're talking about in the 80s, the early 80s, where we didn't have social media and different things like that, or cell phones for kids. And I still don't think, they should be doing that now. But do the research for the child. Put them in the environment so that gift can grow. So it's not, diminished, where the child feels like, well, I guess it's nothing, because if they don't see or feel seen, if they don't see or feel their environment watering what they have inside of them, more than likely either it will be diminished, or the child is going to go outside of their environment to get what they need to move forward with that gift. And that could be good, or that could be not good.
And one of the things that we always do with our children is, like, for example, Chloe, she wants to be a veterinarian. So what do? We take her by colleges, universities that have veterinarian schools, so that we can continue to cultivate that. And Evan wants to be a football player, but again, he said that he wanted to be a doctor, some years ago. And so we just continually say, okay, well, you could play football, but during the off season, you could be a doctor as well, and then, because the lifespan of an NFL player, if he chooses to go that far or what have you, It's probably what 10 years in the NFL, if that. And then you never know if you get injured. So you always have to cultivate whatever that gift was or whatever that thing is that they wanted to be early in life and just continue to feed it, and so that's one of the things that we do. So,
You just used a really good word, Chris. You said continue to
mhm,
feed it. Because sometimes we will just assume, oh, that's just a childhood dream they have, or that's just, they'll stop talking about that after they, get out of high school or after they turn 14 or 8. And parents will just, we'll think in a different direction in the child, and but no, it's still in them. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said earlier, most times who we are as children, we don't change from that. We want good things, we want to grow and mature, but the gifts and talents are there from the beginning, and they will continue. That's when you said the word continue,
mhm,
to nurture and allow it to grow. Just don't, oh, they'll be, they just playing.
mhm.
You know what
Right,
I'm saying?
right.
They just playing right now. She just playing like she want to be a veterinarian, but we really know she really want to be a police officer. You
Right,
know what I'm saying?
right,
It's like, no, she keeps telling you she wants to.
Right.
yeah,
She keeps telling you she wants to be a veterinarian.
right.
She keeps telling you that. And
And
until she stops saying it, then, especially when the child is very adamant about it.
mhm.
Now, granted, some people may say they want to be 17 different things. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Through their span of life. And there's nothing wrong with that either. But when you have a child that is like, no, this is what I want, this is who I am, don't dismiss it.
That's
Mhm.
her. And
Yeah.
that's her. That is her about being. And the thing about it, she wasn't in an environment to say that. I just, when she was a baby in my lap and I had her sitting on my desk in her bouncy seat working, I had Doc McStuffins on the TV. So
Wow.
she was watching, and Doc McStuffins is a little girl who played like a doctor for her stuffed animals. She was the veterinarian. I mean, but she was an infant when she was watching this.
Yeah. And
I don't know.
I also think that the Bible talks about train up the child in the way that he should go, she should go. I think that that's spiritual, but as well as natural, because we have to train them up spiritually, of course, but naturally, whatever gift we see in a child, whatever, anointing that we see in a child, we need to, like I said, and like we're talking about, is cultivate that. Just don't train up the spiritual part, but also do natural and do both. When it comes to your journey, so you went over your adolescent years. What was it like? What was faith like when it came to your teenage years? Well, yeah, I think, did you
So,
discuss teenage already?
Yeah.
Okay.
no.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'll just say, so teenage years, well, I'll combine teenage and college. So the teenage years, that vision diminished.
Mm,
It diminished. Um, and I won't say totally, but because of probably environment, not probably because of environment, and not being able to see where that can go totally, like music producer, I don't know where, I don't quite know how to do that or how to get to that. I'm trying to do certain things, but it's not in my view. And as you know, as you get older, you hear certain things either being said to you, you're seeing certain things. So, and that's, I think you all said it earlier, adults, you'll have a lot of ops, opposition, um, either internally or externally. So it diminishes.
hmm
In addition to, you talking about being a teenager, what I'm saying, adolescence, immaturity, puberty, all these other things coming into play, and just growing up as a
hmm
teenager, trying to figure myself out. So identity, who am I for real? I'm dealing with insecurities, and am I cute? Am I ugly? Or all these other things are going on. So as you know, when you're a child, it's so fresh and it's innocent, and
Mm-hmm.
it's easy for children to believe and dream and believe anything is possible and I can do it. But as time goes on, it's like, oh, maybe I can't, maybe I shouldn't, maybe I'm stupid,
Mm-hmm.
you know, maybe I'm tripping. And that's when that part of, I won't say I had crazy faith as a teenager, but it starts getting ugly.
Mm-hmm.
The faith isn't as beautiful as how a child sees it. The vision isn't as clear as how a child sees it. It's not as pretty as it was.
Mm-hmm.
It gets confusing. So
Wow.
high school, it was kind of there. College, not necessarily. And I say that because it was there, but it was more confusion because I was really unclear. I have to say, I was very unclear as to, I went to a certain college, but it was only based on because my parents went to that school.
Mm-hmm. Where did you go to
Like
school?
I went to Northern and DeKalb.
Okay.
The first school I actually wanted to go to was Howard University. And I didn't want to go because I was scared. I had never been exposed to like being outside of Chicago like that. So, it was just a natural. I didn't know anybody that went to a school that far. So, just environment or what I'm exposed to. So I went to a school where my parents went to Northern, and that's just familiarity. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't bad. It's just all I knew. That's what I was comfortable with. But the confusion came in internally, and I never even expressed it because this period of time is getting not it's not pretty like it was as far as the vision. So I didn't know what to major in. I knew internally just from the things I was doing as a child, like having a production company, wanted to be a producer, which meant I knew I was gonna have a business. And my dream was, I'll back up just a little bit. What part of my dream, when I was in eighth grade, they had us write a letter, a note, a story or something. Where would I be 25 years from now? And I still have that actual written letter that I wrote. And in that letter, I wrote that in the year 2001, I would own my own record company.
Wow.
And I also put in there that I would be, I think, an entertainment lawyer and a few other things. I would get these awards. I mean, and a lot of those things have happened. So I
Wow.
wrote that at 12 or 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So speeding up to college. So that's from eighth grade to now I'm 17 years old, going to college, about to turn 18. So you can imagine it's slowly diminishing. That dream is there, but it's confusing. It's blurry. It's not as clear.
Mm-hmm.
Because now I'm going to Northern and I'm majoring in business because I'm thinking, well, maybe that'll help me with a record company or something. So I'm trying to, put the pieces together because I don't know, what do you do when you want to start a record company? I don't know. How do you work for a record company? I don't know anybody that works for one. You know what I'm saying? That's not a position you can just go apply for. So I'm a major in business, and I said, well, I'll major in marketing because that sounds creative. you know.
Uh-huh.
So I'm trying to figure this out. But if you take all of that and connect it to the little girl who wanted to be a music producer, it kind of connects, but not really. Somebody may say, oh, but marketing, well, you got to sell things. Yeah, but not really, somewhat. And then I said, well, I'll major in marketing. And then when I graduate, I'll go to law school. And this was my thought. I'll go to law school and I will study entertainment law because that'll help me to start a record company. And
Mm-hmm.
y'all see how I'm just trying to figure it out,
Right. Right.
which is really confusing,
Mm-hmm.
because now I'm in a space where I'm just going along with emotions. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking classes that I probably really don't like, and I'm passing it with good grades. I'm doing things in class and stuff, but I don't like these classes. You know, I don't, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But what stood out in college, one of my electives that I took was it was either theater or drama. I think it was theater. I loved my theater class. I loved it. I didn't know that really it was connected to a part of who I really am at that time. The
So,
other things
so
I learned. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So do you
Oh,
think that's why? Do you think that's why you did the youth program in Indianapolis to help keep children enthused in the arts, the creative side, the non-traditional way of growing up, well, professionally? You know, college is not the only option in life. That's one question. Question number two, were you in college for you or your parents?
Um, probably half and half.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do know for sure now. I shouldn't have gone. I shouldn't have. Northern probably was not the best choice for me. I should have gone to performing arts school.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because if I was young now, I would have. It would have been really good because, as you all know, the kids now have way more access, better access to their schools are like have performing arts and then entrepreneurial. We
Mm-hmm.
didn't have that back then.
Did
You
you
know, we
know
didn't
that
have
a lot of
entrepreneurship class.
HBCUs have entrepreneurship as a major?
Yeah. Yep.
I just found that out, you know, with dealing with Christian. I'm like, what? His roommate was there for entrepreneurship because he wanted to be a barber. And his parents said, okay, that's fine. But you're going to go get a degree in entrepreneurship. You're going to learn how to run. They was like, he got the talent,
Hmm.
but you need the business acumen. Needless to say, he basically said, I can show you better than I can tell you. And he went home after the first semester.
Is he a barber now?
He's a barber.
Yeah. Because college is not for everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's
right.
just it's not. It's not for everybody. And it's just not. So that's why I say half and half. I went for my parents and me. I just didn't go to the right school.
Mhm.
Because I'll tell you all this to sum up the college piece. I'll say the most learning I did what happened through the activities and organizations that I was a part of while I was on the yard.
Wow.
So I was the head director of the Black Choir, which was a God move because you would have never told me I would be directing nobody's choir. But if you connect the dots back to the little girl,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? My ex at the time, we both actually ran a few organizations. I was a student affairs, what was I? Student association director of cultural affairs or something like that. I was the co-chair for the Martin Luther King March. I was the direct, so you know what I'm saying, all these different organizational titles that I was over, but it connects back to that little girl that wanted to be the producer, somebody who was good at bringing the best out of situations, knows how to put the pieces together to complete the vision.
Mhm.
So by me being a part of these organizations, who I really was inside was able to flourish through that. So yes, the classes and getting the grades and all that kind of stuff, but the part of me that had kind of diminished from high school to college was being nurtured and developed. I didn't realize it. Actually, God was doing it. You know, He said, I got you. I know this isn't quite where you probably think you should be, but I'm developing you in a way that you don't even see at the time.
Mhm. So
So, you know,
do you think that your faith is like a what is it? Is it a ping pong where what is the machine that you pull back the little ball goes?
Oh,
what you
a
talking?
pinball.
Pinball. Yeah. Do you feel like your faith is like a pinball machine where you're just kind of bouncing all over and then you finally reach that end goal to where you want to be?
Then you hit the jackpot.
Then you hit the right.
You get all the points.
And not just mine. I believe that's how faith works when it's in God.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the scripture Proverbs 16:9, we can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps.
Yep. That's good.
So he knows, and you all know this, the Holy Spirit, when the Holy Spirit is going on our behalf to the Father, we could say, oh, I want to buy a horse, and then the Holy Spirit is like, God, she want to buy a horse, but we know she is scared to ride. She can't even drive, God. So we got to work on her healing internally about driving first. But I think I need to get a horse. But the Holy Spirit is telling God, hey, you know what I'm saying? She can't even drive. So we're going to deal with that first. So then she can get a horse. You get the point.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I think that it's a process that we have to go through. We have the vision in our head, but God is like, yes, that's a part of who you are, but I need to get you, through some other things first, so that when it happens, whatever that is, some things can be worked out a little bit. That's not always the case for everybody's story, though. I will say that. But I believe it's a great thing when we allow God to take us through that crazy faith can be ugly journey. And we recognize that it can be ugly and we deal with it during the ugly phases and actually share with others about how ugly it can get versus, oh, I got crazy faith. I believed and it happened. No, it don't work like that.
Right.
It doesn't work like that.
I,
Go ahead.
I've seen you through the years. I've seen this walk. I've seen you walk this walk. And sometimes I got something to say, and sometimes I'm speechless.
Neither one of us got nothing to say.
But one thing I won't do, I'm not going to gaslight you, but I'm not going to discourage you also.
Yeah.
Because you walk a walk that is not done by many. I'm serious. And as I listen to you, memories flood my mind. The phone calls, the trip to Ohio. I can say I was at your house in Indianapolis 2 times, and one of them was for your birthday party. When you ordered chicken wings, coleslaw from KFC. That was so funny. She was like, coleslaw came from KFC. Chicken wings is coming from. You had that whole. That
KFC
was the
got
most
the best coleslaw.
meticulous birthday party I'd ever seen. And then she's like, okay, now I'm about to play some music, guys. But anyway, I forgot what birthday that was. But it's just, I've seen you walk this thing. I've seen the good, bad, the indifferent, or maybe you want to call it ugly. But God he still, not so much a bring you out, but bring you through.
Because then you left Ty Scott and then just by faith moved out to Ohio. You didn't have a job.
Listen, the
earning.
Lord told her to put our house on the market. Yeah. And it had an offer in 24 hours in the day of a bad market.
Yep. I mean, there was a couple years in between that. So it was like maybe a couple years after I left Ty Scott that I did that. And I will say this sometimes, and the part I really want to bring up to those who are listening regarding crazy faith. And I think a lot of us need to share more about our faith journeys and not just saying what we wanted to do and how it ended. A lot of times you won't know it's faith until after you do it.
Wow.
Not faith. You won't know it's God, not faith.
Right.
Because faith is we believe in. We won't know it's God until after you do it. Many of us, including myself, have said things, oh, it's God, and it wasn't. And I believe a lot of us have to be more honest and transparent about that. You won't know it's God until after you do it. And then if it's not God, be okay. It wasn't. Oops. You know what I'm saying?
My bad.
But that takes but it takes not having pride and being transparent. Doesn't mean you got to go tell everybody, but it happens. It doesn't. Every time when Peter walked out on that water, he wasn't like, okay. You know what I'm saying? And we know that's the case because he started to tremble. He looked down. He got scared. We're humans.
Yeah.
We're humans. I believe we have to stop even beating people up because we do it. We do it a lot. We'll beat people up for taking faith walks, and it may not have turned out the way they thought it was going to be, but they took the walk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
They took the walk.
Yes.
And
Yes.
they did. And they encouraged somebody else who was scared to even think about taking the walk.
Okay, we gotta fast forward to Culinary Cutie, because
I had a question.
Go ahead.
Not a question. Hey, if you all are streaming now, if you're on Facebook, jump over to YouTube and like and subscribe to our channel, and make sure you share. This is some valuable information that Tracy Williamson, our friend, is providing with our audience. Make sure you like and subscribe and share, even on Facebook. Make sure you share. Okay, go ahead and ask your question.
Well, we have to fast forward to Culinary Cutie because I'm serious. I got this whole timeline in my head and memories and conversations. And okay, there was Ohio, then it was Chicago, then it was, radio station.
Oh yeah, that's radio. Mm-hmm.
But girlfriend was cooking. Okay, now don't get me wrong. We safe serve. She did all her certifications and she does her due diligence and everything. And she, on the off days or weekends, she's serving food at the barbershop. Mm-hmm. Okay. Had regular customers for her shrimp pasta and her buttered noodle and Thai noodles, or these sticky wings, or her little sandwiches. Listen, that lets you know. And then next thing you know, not so that kind of waned off, and then it's all about the radio. The next thing I know is Culinary Cutie. Mm-hmm. Now I know it didn't happen. See that lemon butter chicken linguine? Yeah. Mm-hmm. See, she had to bring that. It was one dude be like, he was counting his shrimp.
Yes, and he's probably if he watched,
and let's talk about that mac and cheese. The mac and cheese, she has a video and she's stirring it so you can hear the sound of the mac and that smacking sound, that cheesy mac.
Funny.
She like, if it don't sound like that, it ain't enough. It ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
Is funny.
Yeah, we got a whole. Don't you what? Are you at a million followers yet?
No, I wish I was. Well, let me not say I wish I was, because that come with a whole nother level of stuff.
Okay.
But it's growing. And just to interject, Carlette, for those who are listening, so
did you grow up eating beans like I did? Well, I had a.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But so just to interject, those who are listening or may watch this, these things are not just random. They're all still connected to the little girl that I think I hear echo. They're all still connected to the little girl who had the vision of wanting to be a producer. Oh. So that little girl wanted to be a music producer, but didn't understand that production is not just music. So who I didn't know I am a producer naturally, and I am an entrepreneur, and overall I'm a creative. So I didn't understand that at 7, that I'm a creative. That's connected to the arts and performance and different things like that. I'm also an entrepreneur and a producer, and they're all connected. So as you hear my story, what you're seeing and hearing is someone who is operating in those roles throughout the entire journey. And not just operated, but has grown up and learned and been developed even more. So speeding up to the Culinary Cutie part, what you're talking about, Carlette, in the midst of that, during the down times and the seasons of depression and confusion and misunderstanding, God was dealing with my insecurities. He was dealing with depression. He was dealing with trauma. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things that have happened in the midst of all that I look at it as God was protecting me and, taking me through a process. So creative, the entrepreneur, producer, and all this other stuff is cool, but you also dealing with a human, you know what I'm saying? Who has flesh, who has issues. And we all know people who we're still, so you see your people you like to see on platforms, whether they on TV, I don't know, performing. They're still human beings growing up in front of the camera.
Yeah.
That doesn't make them void of their issues, their internal struggles, their insecurities, you know what I'm saying? Family issues, whatever you want to call it. That doesn't make them void of that. We just see them, it's happening in front of our face, right? Mm-hmm. Some people, you don't see all that. And so I take a lot of my journey as God is developing me, helping me, protecting me, healing me. It doesn't take away from the giftings, but who cares about the giftings if you got a whole broken person, you know what I'm saying, just up here singing all the good songs and dancing, and then I'm gonna be on Unsung tomorrow talking about, you know.
She said
I'm
Unsung.
serious. It's a real thing. And that, I'm not saying something wrong. I love Unsung, but you get the point.
Right.
The whole the biography of Tracy Williamson and how this and this happened. You know, so my point is allowing God to have the time to develop us. Oh man, Carlette, you young.
I mean, the way I just,
Carlette,
I didn't.
Chris,
It just caught me.
Dang, I should have changed the
It caught
screen. Jesus.
I am so sorry.
Yeah, let me show you some of this. Hold on. Dang.
Let's make some pancakes. Now, if you're slowly trying to remove dairy from your diet, these fluffy almond pancakes are perfect. I did say slowly, meaning we are still going to use eggs. There are ingredients. I got a half a cup of almond milk. Crack 2 eggs in there, about a teaspoon of vanilla. Add a little bit more than what I had in there, a tablespoon of olive oil, a cup and a half of flour, about a tablespoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of salt. Whisk that all together. Remember, we are slowly removing dairy. I did add eggs. Do not say nothing in these comments about them eggs, okay? We add our pancakes to that hot cast iron skillet. Flip them cakes over. You see how those fluffy almond pancakes came out? I added a little caramel on top. That's totally up to you. Added some strawberries, and I had to try it. This is good. Let's make some pancakes. Now, if you're slowly trying to remove dairy from your diet, these fluffy almond pancakes are perfect.
Stop. Okay.
Okay, who eats all the rest of that food?
I had because eggs aren't dairy, so I didn't say that right.
Okay, but who eats all that food?
Yeah.
Not me.
You throw it away?
If I'm making, no, it's probably eaten over a course of period of time, so not all at one time.
Okay, Chantella says she needs the cookbook. You go to www.culinarycutie.com. It's right there at the lower third.
It's on sale. You got a Black Friday sale going on.
$15.
Pre-Black Friday sale, $15.
I know that's right.
Hey, okay, so let's talk a little bit more. So
before Carlette yawned to some of the
Tracy, you know I've been up since 5 this morning. Tracy, you know I've been up since 5.
So you guys understand. Basically, you need a journey. So the Culinary Cutie. So what happened is I moved. I started cook. I've always loved to cook. Cooking is also an art. You know, it's a part of the creative. Blah blah blah. So I've always been cooking. That didn't just happen. I've been loving cooking since I was 7, so that's nothing new. When you all mentioned the food business, kind of started around Ty Scott times. Kind of tested it out just to see if I wanted to do it or not. When I moved back to Chicago, I got serious about it around 2013, and I started. I was encouraged actually to go out and sell my food, and I did. I wanted to test it out to see if I was serious. I saw that I was consistent. And like Carlette said, I started selling to different businesses in the city, and they were buying it. And I did that every Saturday from 2014 until COVID.
Wow.
I remember that. I remember one day she made
microphone back.
One day, you remember this? You already know where I'm about to go. After we had moved here, because she was like, well, you was doing that cooking in California. You had your cousin. You got to bring that here. I was like, Tracy, Carlette, go make somebody a company lunch. Make them lunch. Call. She's like, matter of fact, you're gonna feed Chloe's daycare today. The staff at the daycare.
I remember that.
I made a roast. What did I make? The sandwiches. I made them sandwiches. Yeah. I got, I think, some chips, something to drink, and it was good, very good. But my point in bringing this, she will pull it out of you. She will, and she don't get loud. I get loud. She don't get loud. She's gonna talk. She gonna put the facts out there. You just need to do it, and then she ain't gonna listen to you talk too much longer. You need to go ahead and subscribe because you're not subscribed. You see that? You see that say subscribe? Just click right there. Click. And so it's like, and she'll only let you talk for so long. And it's like, well, that's nice and cute. and go do it, and don't talk to me until you have it done. I want a report. Say I'm lying. Say I'm lying. Say I'm lying.
No, you not.
Based on, okay, I'm trying, she said I volunteer. Okay. Moving forward, so like, how do you've been on like every probably Chicago news station in Chicago with the Culinary Cutie, and you probably a regular. I think you're a regular on somebody's show.
Are you a regular yet?
Not a regular, because they don't have but I frequently.
Okay. And which is ABC or?
I'll say between Fox, ABC, and WGN. I've been on WGN more times than the others, but those three I'm grateful that they bring me back on quite often.
Wow. So where can someone pick up this great food?
I know that's right. I'm just
do you mail food?
Hungry and stuff.
But I do mail my seasonings that I have right here.
Yeah, how come we don't have any seasoning?
Sorry. Turned around.
We have the cookbook. I haven't ordered the seasoning.
You need to get the seasoning.
I didn't know I could order seasonings.
Yep, I have 2 soft fruit. You can get them on the website.
Okay. On the website.
I mean, that's something different. But as far as food, so the food business, my catering business is what kind of launched all this. Well, let me just share this, because we talking about the crazy faith can be ugly.
Yeah.
Because I know we don't have a whole lot of time. So Culinary Cutie it wasn't planned. It was not, and none of this was planned.
It started on the red couch when we was eating turkey necks and northern beans.
Right. None of these things were planned. Nothing. Right. Even Ty Scott, me working at Ty Scott, every journey. Now, we don't have a lot of time to go into everything. At some point, people will hear more. Mm-hmm. Every part of my journey has literally been faith and God.
I believe
me working at Ty Scott is because I was in Vegas working with a gospel magazine, Gospel Flavor, working with them. So happened Doc and Brian were standing behind me. Brian just started talking to me, asking me, what do I want to do for a living in the music industry or something. Mm-hmm. Told him, he said, send me your resume. A whole year later, he called me to the date that I met them. Mm-hmm. So, you know what I'm saying? Everything has been literally a God thing. Even me working at the radio station, they asked me, hey, would you like to be a program director? I didn't pursue that. And I'm not saying like I'm, this great special, I'm special. We all are, but it's literally been God placing me in situations that I would have never seen. So Culinary Cutie came about because I literally had a prophetic dream about seasonings. The Lord told me he wanted me to sell seasonings. He showed me the seasonings being sold on my website. I was like, where'd that come from? I woke up, he said, get on it, start developing them. I started developing them. He didn't say sell them. He said develop it. I developed it, the look, the whatever, the whole thing, 2 salt-free seasonings. So what happened, my goal was to, in order to sell something, you need a demand. You need an audience. You need people to buy it, right? So I said, I'm going to go live on Facebook, and I'm going to just go to Aldi, my favorite store, and I'm going to shop and tell people what they need to buy for dinner. And that's how I'll build up an audience. So when it's time to sell my seasonings, hopefully I can have people buy them. Well, those videos turned into something else. And my accountant told me, you need to be on TikTok. I was like, no, I don't. She said, yes, you do. I was like, okay. So I started posting the videos, and she was like, you need to do this. She kept pushing me. I was like, I think it's stupid. But she said, do it. And as I was doing these videos, I was like, man, what is this? This is something else. What is this turning into? Mm-hmm. Time goes on, doing more of the videos. I couldn't figure out what to call myself. My best friend, Tiffany Gavin, was like, Tracy. She was like, best friend, I got the name for you. She's a marketing genius. I'll say that. She was like, you are the Culinary Cutie. Mm-hmm. Tiffany Gavin is the one who gave me that name. I was like, oh my God. So it wasn't like, oh, I like to cook. Let me become the Culinary Cutie. Nothing like that. And even from the television perspective, I was approached one of my former classmates from elementary school reached out to me. She knew I cooked. She asked me one year, it was 2021. She said, hey, would you be available to cook for my company's Christmas and Thanksgiving meals? And I was like, okay. I didn't know who she worked for. She worked for ABC. I would have never known that.
Wow.
I'm like, oh wow, okay. So I ended up providing their lunch and dinner for over 150 news staff for Thanksgiving and Christmas, which opened the door for me being on ABC.
Girl,
So
you got 34,000 followers on TikTok.
Beautiful.
Yep.
I love it.
Jesus.
So what I'm hearing is in your downtime, in your night season, in your low season, hot, whatever, believe it or not, that's the time of preparation.
Yes.
Because when you come out there, you can't be, oh, well, let me get this pepper together. Nope. That pepper.
There we go.
You had time for pepper, but you was on the couch. You was Netflixing and chilling. You had time. You were told.
Netflix and chilling, but
I know I'm not saying, I'm just using it as an example because that's the thing now, you know.
Yep.
And I was listening to somebody yesterday. They said you give your job 8 hours, you need to give yourself, I think they said 12. I'm like, dang, that only leaves 4 hours left to sleep and take a shower. But they were so serious.
Yep.
If you want to get, yeah.
I mean, and you gotta put that time in. So those ugly, not cute moments is when you don't see it. You can see it in your dream, or you think you see it, but ain't nobody calling. Nothing's happening. Somebody's telling you, "Oh, that's stupid," or "You can't do that." I mean, like real stuff, real time statements. Things are being said to you, or not said to you, or subliminally said to you, or you know what I'm saying. So those ugly
nice,
moments
nasty.
Right, nice, nasty statements.
Calling stuff little. Oh, you got your little seasonings, your little website, your little, mine got nothing little. God gave it to me, so it's big. Yeah.
Or even the statement, it may be not even a word.
That one. That one.
That is funny.
What does that mean? What did you got past gas? I mean, what's happening here? You know, what's going on? So, you know, or even the things you say to yourself that can be ugly because you're stepping out, you're walking literally on water. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize. When you are solely dependent on God, and I'm not saying it as a cliche, and I know y'all understand this, where he is your source.
Yep.
Literally.
And your strength.
You've seen him do it.
Yep.
With your own eyes. And we're not talking no churchy statements. I'm talking about
you lived
him
it.
Providing for you.
Yes.
So when the time comes where he's like, okay, so you kind of was walking on water. Now I was prophesied to a year ago. And I believe it. And someone told me, they said, from here on out, you are only water walking for the rest of your life.
Wow.
And I said,
water walking.
Jesus.
Wow.
And that's scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's scary. It's not like, okay, let me get get on this, what's the thing you going on the water, a speed boat, and you know what I'm saying? Let me get to go.
Get on my jet ski. Let me get on my jet ski.
Right. Yeah. Like that's scary. That means I obviously we like to be in control. I ain't got no control over this. None of it.
Wow.
Like, and that's a scary thing. Most of us are literal walking Bible stories more than what we know.
Living epistles.
We are.
So where can like, well, one, how can people get in contact with you outside of just the website? I guess everybody has to go to the website to get in contact with you.
Yes, and follow me on all the social media.
On all social media. And then if someone wanted to order something, like how do you do that?
How do I get the catfish and grits in Atlanta?
Well, I will say.
The world's first titanium nonstick pan.
All right, go ahead. Sorry about that.
Because there's so many facets of what's going on.
That's so wrong.
You can contact me directly, probably via like a DM for menu options. Now, the content that I post is not necessarily food that I'm selling. So that's more so just, social media content. But I do have a menu of items where people can, purchase for catering.
That's a nice pot. I like that pot. Is that a particular brand?
I want
Because you know I like a good pot.
Yeah, it's a good brand. I can't remember what it is right now, but it's a
Is
good
it
Like
brand.
a
is it
La
cast
Croissant?
iron? That's what I want. Is it enamel
Dutch
cast
oven.
iron?
Yeah, it's the Dutch oven pot.
Yeah, is that La Creuset?
That don't make sense right there. That should be a sin.
That's pretty.
That's a sin before
But see,
God.
I see you gotta get that Crystal hot sauce. Is Crystal a sponsor?
No.
Turn
Has
that around.
has
No.
Aldi's reached out to you? Because you've given Aldi's major love.
Yeah, no, they haven't. But in time,
Okay.
It's all about faith.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Wow. So yeah, this is really good. I'm just looking at this.
We're proud of you,
catfish.
Tracy.
Yes.
Friend.
Appreciate that.
We
Yeah.
proud of you for real. Proud of you. Don't worry, we ain't the friends that's gonna ask you for $5. We are not them. We are not them.
Oh, I mean,
But we are proud of you.
Yeah, give me $5 though.
But we might ask for some of that shrimp linguine stuff.
Let me see what the next time we coming up to Chicago.
Listen, I
Shit.
told her I'm gonna go and I pay for all the food. I just
Wait, hold. First of all,
she's my friend.
First of all,
She's my
Tracy,
friend.
I understand that,
She's
but
my
first of all,
friend.
I'm gonna put you on the spot on
That
our
is
show.
Chloe's one of Chloe's godmothers.
You were supposed to
That's
come down here this
yeah.
year.
Yeah.
the year's not over yet.
Girl, please. You gotta do Christmas parties.
Right.
The Culinary
So
Cutie gotta show up on site and do a show at somebody's Christmas party.
No, the year's not over yet. It's not. Now, of course, y'all know with life and I want to say crazy faith, but things can get ugly. So things go on that I'll just say, and you all know this, just with life and as we're walking this journey out, we do have certain things that are trying to throw us off,
Mhm.
meaning off of our journey. So I've had a few of those moments in the last couple years where, as I'm walking this thing out, things have been tried to be thrown in, to knock me off. Just even like this year, September, the enemy tried to stop my movement a little bit, but he didn't. So I'm saying that regarding coming down there to see, to Atlanta. So sometimes some things are being planned, and as I'm walking stuff out, and then it, it'll try to throw me off a little bit, and I kind of got to get recalibrated,
Mhm.
Get back on track emotionally, mentally. So that's not an excuse for why I haven't been there, but that's a real thing. I will say.
I will say this: she came to California though.
She did come to
My
California.
friend came to California.
I've been to Atlanta too.
Yeah, the first time. Yep.
Yeah, and so when you come down, maybe you can cook on the show, on the Chris and Carlette live show.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we need to cook together because y'all know Carlette is Carlette. I want Carlette to cook for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you eat some dressing because you'll eat my dressing.
No, I'm gonna throw it up. Don't do it.
You don't eat dressing?
Oh no.
Oh,
And she don't like candy yams either.
you don't like candy? Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I just started eating a sweet potato, like a roasted sweet potato.
Oh, like they serve at the Texas Roadhouse or something.
Yeah, but I can't. It's a texture thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like I don't
She
like.
said dressing ain't nothing but wet bread.
That is true.
I forget what she said. Candy yams is not. She said something. It was it
Yeah,
ghetto
it's a
or
texture
something?
Mm-mm.
Sweet
No.
squishy stuff. Something she said.
Well, do you have any last departing words for our audience?
No, just keep walking this thing out and being transparent. Not just you don't have to share everything with everyone because people are not going to understand. They're not, and don't expect them to.
Your
Don't
mama said
expect
you don't
them
like
to.
birthday cake,
No, I don't like that either.
You don't like birthday cake?
but you like my pound cake though.
Yeah, I like pound cake. I like chocolate cream pie, and I don't like cupcakes. I like pound cake, chocolate cream pie, cheesecake.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah,
Alright.
but keep walking this thing out. It's not easy. It's not meant to be easy because you are gaining strength. You're gaining muscle. That's the whole point. You're gaining muscle. You have to get stronger. That's the only way you're gonna be able to stand on that water and not fall. You got to be strong. You have to be, and learning how to manage those emotions. And go get a therapist.
Yeah.
But talk to God more than you talk to the therapist. I cannot. I cannot.
God might be talking through that therapist.
Right.
I'll say you got to balance that out, because God may be telling you go talk to the therapist.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If he could talk to a donkey through a donkey, he can talk through a therapist.
Yeah, but of course, you definitely God has to be the priority.
Center. Jesus is the center.
You got to be strong.
Oh, yeah.
You have to, because if not, you don't want to fall on the first. You don't want to keep falling on the first steps on the water. It's gonna get rough. You might trip and fall on your face. You're gonna fall, but it's a matter of how long you're gonna stay down there.
This is my last question. When you walk on the water, does the depth of the water get deeper in a faith walk?
Yes. I'm so glad and thank the Lord you asked that question, Chris. Yes. Yes, and yes. And it's also what also matters and is important is you are going to go under, but you're going to come back up.
Wow. Y'all hear that? Say that one more time.
You're going to go underwater, but you're going to come back up. Breathing.
Yes.
You're going to go underwater. I'm so glad that is a great question, Chris. Because we like to tread on the water, stay in the shallow.
In the shallow.
That was a great question, Chris.
Right on the. If you're at the ocean, you want to stay on the beach. You want to stay in the beach area.
You want to stay on the beach by the sand. Ain't no putting your toes in the water and taking them back out. Want to play around? Oh, look at me in the water. You're gonna be out in the deep.
Yeah. Then when you start walking,
that's the only way you know how strong you are, and not just how strong you are. The biggest part is how strong God is. He's our strength. Because when you go under, you're not gonna be the one bringing yourself back up.
Wow.
You're not.
I gotta do homework.
She got to do homework and yarn at the same time.
We know, because she yawned 7 times.
Right.
I'm so sorry. I didn't even feel it. I'm not even sleepy. I didn't even feel it, but I have been up since 5. Say I haven't. I woke you up.
You know what? She gotta. You gotta tell. No. All right, Miss Tracy.
I did, and I'm sad. I'm sorry that I woke you up. I did. Tracy, we love you. We believe in you.
I love y'all too.
We're fans, and for real,
we family.
Yep, fans and family, and you my sister, you my BFF, you Chloe's other godmother.
You're a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha.
Saying it like you at my funeral. That's how she sang.
What?
And Carlette, just know when that time comes, as you know, I'm a comedian. Somebody's going to have my cell phone, and I'm gonna make sure they send a text message to everybody at my going away, and I was gonna say, "What y'all doing?"
I cannot. Tracy, stop.
You gonna get a text from me. It's gonna say, "What y'all doing?" It's gonna say, "Where y'all at?" Where you at?
I'm waiting. Oh,
that is
you better not
funny.
say I'm waiting on y'all. No.
When you coming up here?
or will somebody come get me out of here?
Right. I'm sitting here waiting. Yo, Tracy, I'm not doing this.
Get me out of here.
I just know this chick went on Facebook basically letting everybody know ain't none of y'all coming to my wedding when I get married. It's gonna be.
I mean,
it's
Carlette,
gonna be.
I'm at this point. I'm gonna be close to 50. You know.
You don't know that.
It's him and I. I'm 47 now. What you mean?
Y'all, hey, if it's any single men out there.
No, don't put my friend out like that. Trust me, she
Chris ain't doing no harm. No, and that post was more about just me understanding the importance of it ain't about a big wedding. So there's gonna be like a few family, y'all, you know what I'm saying, but it ain't. We ain't doing.
If I had to do it over again, it would have been more intimate. I still would have the big dress, and maybe even a destination wedding, and I would have done my wedding to my liking and not to please people.
Yeah.
My wedding was to please people, but baby, if I do it again, bump y'all.
You gonna do it again?
If we do a renewal.
Oh, renewal. I thought you meant like.
I'm talking about a renewal, man.
Tracy, she's talking about getting married again.
She was like, "Oh, I do this again."
Renewal. Jack and Jill, both of y'all.
A renewal. Oh,
renewal,
okay. Well,
man.
you need to talk a little bit more clear.
Okay. We love y'all. This is the Chris and Carlette Live Show. Like I tell y'all every week. Now, you stay right there. As I tell y'all every week, seek the face of God. We love you. Pray. Call on the name Jesus. If you don't know who to talk to, call Jesus. If you don't know what to pray for, go on to CNN, watch for 5 minutes. You'll have a list. I love you. I appreciate you. Call on the name of the Lord. Have a good time.
Peace.
Thanks for joining us this week on Chris and Carlette Live. Make sure to visit our website, Chris and Carlette. If you're on Facebook, share this broadcast. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to our show. You may also find us on Apple Podcast, where you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. Let us stay in contact with you by texting CNC Live to 474747. That's CNC Live to 474747.
CNC Live.